Bluetooth connected.
It helps for me to turn my microphone on, which I had forgotten to do. Rookie mistake. Um, so tonight I just thought it might be a good idea to try and share some of the things that I've learned about singing throughout my life. Sorry for getting some water, but I'm thirsty. Because I thought it might benefit anyone of any kind of singing to improve their voice in many ways. So that's what this is. This is just kind of a short tutorial. And the very first thing that I was taught on my first voice lesson at college was all about how to breathe properly and how to support the voice with my air. And although I was already kind of knew what to do, I wasn't doing everything right. And so I did benefit quite a bit, and I continued to try to practice the things I learned, because nobody's perfect right away. Um, Hi, Chris. But you know, I learned quite a bit about breath control and the importance of air in singing. And I've noticed a lot of people that sing on my shows and that I interact with on other people's shows, although they have talent and their voices are nice, I can tell that they're straining their voice when they sing. Some people are, anyway, not everybody. And even if they're not straining their voice too much, um, they're also not supporting the voice very well with their air, which causes them not to be able to sing phrases that are very long. They might only get a couple of words in on a song and they have to take a breath again. So, you know, the better you're able to support the voice with air and use that air in an efficient manner, the longer your phrases are that you can sing. Hope that makes sense. But I've been thinking about how would I try to teach somebody who knew nothing about singing how to use their air. And this thought just came to my mind when I was thinking about this a few days ago. And it was never told to me this way in any of my classes that I took on singing at college. But I think it makes a lot of sense. So hear me out. If any one of you has ever seen and heard a bagpipe, you know they're very loud, for one, but you also know that the way they make their sound is the guy playing the bagpipe is blowing air into this big bladder that's below the pipes. And the bladder is kind of under one of his arms, and he's squeezing it with his arm to blow the air through those pipes. And I thought that that was a good way to try to explain how we're supposed to use our air when we sing. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to sound like an opera singer if you use these techniques either. Um, so if you're afraid of sounding like an opera singer because you don't like opera voices or opera singing styles, don't worry. You can sing like you normally do. It's just going to make your sound better. It's going to make your voice stronger. It's going to do a lot of things for your voice. You'll have a little bit better range as you practice the different techniques, and you will also have a fuller sound. Uh, all these things come from air. So when I'm about to sing, it depends on how challenging the song is, of course, but if I'm needing power, especially, I want to expand my entire abdomen, my stomach area with air. So when I take a breath, I don't like this in my chest. I don't breathe up here. I just open the back of my throat like I'm going to yawn and let the air come in, and you don't even hear it, but it's just so quick. And while I'm doing that, I'm expanding my rib cage with the muscles between my ribs. And so the two things working together um, pull the air into my lower section around my diaphragm and lower. It allows your lungs to fill all the way to the bottom of the lungs, is what it does. So it's not really going into your abdomen, but it feels like it is because you're breathing deeper than you normally would. If you see a baby on its back, when it's breathing, its midsection, its stomach rises. Its chest doesn't rise. The baby's chest does not rise. So thank you for that message, Festive. Hi, 710. Hi, Chris. I'm doing okay. Um, Not in too much pain tonight, so that's a good thing. But anyway, so I expand my ribs and I kind of make a arch in the back of my throat, and the air just comes in, and I'm ready to sing. And when I did this in college, this one girl that couldn't seem to figure out how to do that very well, she called me a stealthy breather because she couldn't hear me breathe. But that's because I just let the air in. Now, the trick when you're trying to sing is you need to try to keep that feeling in your midsection. I didn't see that, Festive. Well, I saw that, or somebody said Wednesday she got temporarily shut down, but it was back like the next day or something. But anyway, so what I was saying is when I'm singing, I I try to keep my ribs expanded and my midsection feeling full as I'm singing, and that causes the air to come up and support the voice. And that way, um, you're not straining your vocal cords, and you're supporting the voice with air, and it gives enough pressure to the vocal cords that you don't have a crack in your voice. Also, if you're able to keep that expansion pretty well, your your air will last longer and you can sing longer phrases. So I like the idea of thinking about it as being similar to a bagpipe. You got to fill that bladder with air and then slowly push the air up. So it's coming from below the ribs all the way up. And another thing that I've heard a lot of opera singers say is that singing should be as effortless as talking. And in a sense, that's true for most singing. And it should be that way if you're not singing opera. It should, if you're singing country or pop or something like that, um, whatever genre you like to sing, it should be effortless. It should be smooth. Sometimes you want a little gravelly sound in, jazz or blues or something like that, but for the most part, you want a smooth, pretty sound, right? The other thing I wanted to point out is that a lot of people don't seem to understand what a vibrato is or how it happens. And a true vibrato is something that naturally occurs when you sing. So if you're supporting the voice correctly, you're going to have uh, a natural vibrato. It just automatically will happen. You don't have to force it. But a lot of people don't understand it and they force a vibrato and it doesn't sound very natural because it isn't. And some people call that having a goat bleat. They sound like a goat bleat. Um, and you don't want that. So I'm hoping that makes sense. Hey, Steve-O, I can try to give you a little bit of an example of taking a breath lower and singing a phrase. So let me try just a cappella. I'll sing Amazing Grace. Okay. So I've taken a breath. Amazing grace. See how I did that whole phrase and I held long notes? And I could probably go longer than that if I tried. I just wasn't trying very hard there. But with the support down low, the sound gets fuller and your sinus cavities and your mouth are the end of that pipe that project the voice. So you want the back of your throat open and you don't really want a nasal sound. So even though you do want sound to resonate in your sinus cavity to some degree to project the sound, you don't want it to come mostly through the nose. That doesn't sound very good either. So anyway, bottom line is the most basic thing that will help any singer is to learn how to support their voice with air. And I could probably go a little more deep into this, but it's kind of hard when I'm by myself. Uh, it'd be helpful probably if I had somebody with me to kind of talk to and try get them to try some of the things that I'm talking about. Then you could see somebody else learning from it. But, initially this is just my first dip of, my big toe into the pool of trying to teach better singing techniques. I do hope all of you are doing well. I did want to update you on a couple of things on a personal level before I close this down. Um, my dad found out yesterday he has shingles and it's on the left side of his face. So it hurts him to chew, especially if it's cold. So he can't really handle having ice cream. Hey, Ken. The other thing is that he fell again at his home. He was trying to get something out of his closet and fell down. And although he didn't hurt himself, he had to call paramedics to get him off the floor. It took 3 paramedics to get him off the floor. He couldn't get off the floor by himself. And so now he's talking about trying to move into some place where he gets 24-hour care. And he's saying he's probably going to quit singing and all that. So I hope that doesn't happen because I think it's amazing that at 95 he's still been singing and recording. He recorded several songs today. So please pray for my dad and his whole situation. My twin brother's coming down Tuesday, and we're going to go spend time with him on Thanksgiving Day and have a meal with him where he lives. And then Friday, my older brother and his wife are going to meet us at my dad's facility, and they're bringing food Friday. So we're going to have kind of 2 Thanksgiving celebrations one day after each other. One day or 2 days in a row. But I do hope everyone has a wonderful week and a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate. And please be sure to come to my show tomorrow night. I'm doing a Thanksgiving open mic show tomorrow night. All of you are welcome to come. And You don't necessarily have to sing songs that talk about being thankful, but you can take a little time to just share some of the things that you're thankful for in between songs. Okay. Thank you. I hope that the lesson has been beneficial to some of you at least, and I plan on doing some other short little lessons. I'm thinking about different techniques that I thought I would share. One of which is um, how to handle consonants when you sing, because a lot of people don't think about that. And then there's another thing that I was trained in when I was studying voice, and they talk about something called a diphthong, and that's not an uncomfortable kind of underwear. A diphthong is a vowel sound that actually ends up having two vowel sounds in it. Like when you sing My Way, I did it my, or even the word I, that's a diphthong. So in singing, when you take voice lessons, they teach you to avoid putting that second vowel sound in that vowel until the very end of that note. So my way. I don't go my way. You hear the difference? So things like that I'm probably going to talk about in later lessons. But I do hope that you have a great rest of your night. And I'm just going to stop this lesson here because I'll probably just keep rambling otherwise. God bless everybody. Thank you, Steve-O.